Hello and welcome to this detailed patch notes for patch 2.16 video. So I'm going to quickly go through all the patch notes, and I'm going to show the effect they have in game as well. So patch 2.16 launched today being the 20th of February 2014, and you can see the patch notes on the Lodestone website, link in the description. So we'll quickly go through it. So it says patch 2.16 is right around the corner, patch notes are now live. This update includes new achievement rewards, additions to Duty Finder, several system refinements originally scheduled for patch 2.2. So awesome. So they actually brought some of the features forward, is what they're saying. So number one, it says Alliance members will now be visible during initial cutscene of Labyrinth of the Ancients. Okay, so you see everyone, not just your own party. It says the Dawn, Chimera, and Hydra request a Realm Reborn can now be challenged via Duty Finder. Players who have completed a Relic Reborn can now unlock these trials at the following locations. So all you need to do is visit those locations and you can unlock it to your Duty Finder. So that's something I have quickly already done. So looking at my character, we can see we quickly just open up the Duty Finder list. And once you've gone to those two locations, it will appear under Trials, and you can see here a Relic Reborn, the Chimera, a Relic Reborn, the Hydra. So then you can now queue them in your Duty Finder list easily and so on. Okay, so now guild leaves. It says for Battlecraft leaves that require the collection of items, the guild leave icon will now be displayed on the mini-map and next to the requested items nameplate. That's awesome. So you'll see which items are related to the guild leave straight away. Okay, next it says the Fate Making Waves has been relocated to Western Lanosia. Okay, so if you were doing the Fate Making Waves, it's now been moved here. So simple as that. Free companies. So this is talking about your free company, what you might be a member of. So it says the following features have been added to the free company interface. Activity notices under activity can be filtered using the following options: entitlements, membership, organizational actions, housing, gardening will be implemented in patch 2.2. I don't know if this is considered a new feature or if this is related to the fact that you'll be able to put a shop in your garden. I guess we'll have to wait and see. It says the maximum number of notices displayed has been increased to 200. So I think before it was 100, now you see 200. And applications have been added to the hierarchy settings under rank. So there is a new system they brought into patch 2.16 which allows you to apply to join a free company in-game, which more of that later. So it says several categories have been added to the company profile. It says by selecting edit profile under info, players can change the following company profile settings. So the focus, it says, indicates the primary activities of your free company. Seeking indicates the class or job role sought by a free company if you're using the application system. Active indicates when your free company is most active. Recruitment indicates whether or not your free company is accepting applications. So players unaffiliated with a free company can now submit an application to join another player's free company. So it says submitting an application. So it says target a member of your desired free company, then select view company profile from the sub command menu as follows, and then it says select submit application at the bottom of the company profile window. So this is what the company profile looks like when you're examining someone's free company, and this new button here will allow you to see if you can submit an application or not, if the free company is accepting application, because if they're not, this will probably just be grayed out or not there. And then it says enter a message to be sent with your application, then press the confirm button. If your application has been accepted, you'll be able to join the free company. Okay, so it says to withdraw an application, it says select free company from the social menu. To view the profile of your free company, apply to join. From the company profile window, select withdraw application, simple. And then it says when a confirmation window appears, select yes to confirm your withdrawal. So it says withdraw your application from membership with obviously their free company they've called Final Fantasy 14 just for the sake of this patch note. And it says approving an application. So this is from the people within the free company's point of view. So it says select edit profile in your company profile tab under info, then check the box next to accept applications. Confirm. A list of players who have submitted applications to join your free company will appear under Members on the Applicants tab. Select a name and open the subcommand menu, which is usually done by right-clicking on the name, to approve or deny that player's application. Not sure why that's written twice. Okay, housing. So it says market boards and summoning bells have been added to residential districts. And these little indicators show where both of them are. So even though the symbol just shows a summoning bell, there's also the market board there as well. So if I quickly show you in game. So I'm here in the mist next to the legacy house right here, and I'm at that marker, as I said, the one right here, and as you can see there's a summoning bell and the market board fully functioning, great, literally right next to the house for me, so that's really awesome. And they have sort of laid them out so that regardless which house you live in, you won't have to run that far to get to one. Okay, so we're looking back at the patch notes. So next, same in lavender beds, same in the goblet. So it says the company chest furnishing placed inside an estate will now display your free company's crest. Your free company crest will appear automatically upon setting a company chest inside of your estate. Interesting. So I'm going to quickly run into the house and I'm going to take a look at that. So yeah, I figured that rather than just talking about it in the patch notes, I would actually show you in-game the impact of as many of these features as possible. So here we go, going into the Legacy House. The Legacy House was the world's first Legacy large house that was built. So here you go, that's what they mean. So as you can see on the company chest, we can see the Legacy Free Company logo. So that's what that bit of the patch note meant. So again, going back to the patch notes. So now it says the confirmation prompt displayed when setting furnishings can now be turned off by unchecking the item bind prompt box at the bottom of the indoor furnishing and outdoor furnishing window. So this is just the like every single time you place a new piece of furniture, you can just remove the box to say, do you know that this item will now be bound to your house, you know, rather than seeing it 100 times. And it says the Moogle letterbox furnishing will now light up when mail arrives, which I think is kind of interesting. So I'll quickly show you what that looks like. So if we run outside the house to our Moogle mail, so what this is saying is that this Moogle letterbox, where you can pick up mail at your house, will glow if there's a letter waiting for you. I don't have any letters waiting for me right now, but yeah. So that's an interesting feature, I guess. So okay, looking back at the patch notes. So it says, to prevent players from becoming stuck between furnishings, continued character movement will temporarily disable collision detection. What that means is that if somehow you're AFK or whatever, and then people decide for a joke to put two sofas around you and you can't move, if you continually move in a certain direction, eventually the collision detection, which is the thing that basically makes you run into and stop moving into the furniture, will be disabled, which means you can then run straight through it. So you can't be stuck between furnishings anymore. And it says other players' characters will no longer be displayed in certain event areas. Okay, interesting. So it says certain NPCs in Revenant's Toll have been relocated. A summoning bell has been placed in Revenant's Toll. Okay, so let's quickly go take a look at that. I'm going to quickly teleport to Revenant's Toll. Now, one thing I've noticed about this patch already is the just the little changes to the interface and the hotbars and stuff, which are actually covered in the notes, so I'll explain those when we get there. So, looking here, we can see that Revenant's Toll has been expanded slightly again. So look at this. So all this is new. I'm guessing this is going to be related to the next patch in 2.2. So there's going to be more NPCs here. As you can see here as well, there's a summoning bell. So yeah, so you can access the summoning bell while you're in Revenant's Toll. You don't have to return if you want to get something from your retainer. I don't think there's a market board here, but at least there's the summoning bell. Okay, so going back to the patch notes. So now it says battle system. It says the period during which players are unaffected by curative magic after being revived has been reduced. So when you get revived during battle, you're initially immune to damage, but you're also immune to healing, which basically means that you know, like, you might still have very, very low health when you're fully raised up. So the idea will be is that, given that they've only talked about the unaffected by curative magic, what that means is that even though you'll be immune to taking damage, they will still be able to cure you up while you're raising, which I think is a good thing. And then it says the Sick and Obey pet commands can now be activated without a target present. So it says furthermore, pets will remain set to either command even when resummoned. Okay, so it says upon logging out, pets will revert to sick by default. So what it's basically saying is that if you've changed the pet from sick to obey, which basically means either attack or don't attack, it will stay that way even if the pet is dismissed and resummon, but it will then change back to attack by default after you've logged out. So it says when using the sick or obey commands while the pet is moving, queued action will not be cancelled if no other commands are given. Okay, so it says Eos and Selene, which are the scholar pets, will now continue to follow their owners even when switching between the sick and obey commands. Good. And it says Eos and Selene can now use embrace on non-party members when set to obey, which is interesting. So that's probably to do with NPC fights, like if you're doing quest story mode and you have to keep an NPC alive or leaves or whatever. And then it says the Summoner and Scholar are now counted as separate jobs when determining the speed at which the Limit Break Gorge is filled. Okay, so I guess that hopefully will mean it will fill a bit quicker if you have a Summoner and a Scholar in the group. And now it says players will now be revived automatically after exiting an instance while incapacitated. So what that basically means is that if you've left the dungeon and you were dead, let's say rage quit or whatever reason, then when you go back to your starting location, you will automatically be raised up and you won't have to release your spirit and return to your home point. And it says the respawn rate at which enemies in the following areas has been adjusted. So it says the Hearthstone, the Saspa spawning grounds, Iron Lake, Angura mines. Now when they say adjusted, it doesn't mean it's going to be quicker or slower. They haven't indicated. It just means adjusted, so it could be either way in these areas. And then it says the appearance of the enemy action indicators has been changed to the following. So before they used to be red, but now they're this color. So let's quickly go look at that actually. Let's go attack a mob and see what the indicator looks like. So I'm here, Revenant's Toll, good place to go. So let's do this. Find any mob. There you go. Wow, the Crystal Tower is looking really awesome at the moment. So oh, look at that. It's just glowing, nice brightness and so on. I'm going to find one of these giants because I think the giants have a lot more attack than the sprites. I think the sprites will just do little circles on the ground. Can I find any monster in this zone? Wow. Whatever, let's just fight this cobra. So I'm gonna attack it. Okay, I'm just gonna wait for it to do any ability. Okay, well that one wasn't a area done, so I just have to wait until he does an area one. Will he ever do one? It might just be the wrong type of monster, so I might need to go find one of the giants. Okay, whatever. I'm gonna go find one of the giants instead. I do love the environments of this game, and it makes me really excited for what they're gonna bring out in the future, like what sort of weird and wonderful places we're going to get to see. So So, okay, let's fight this guy. So maybe he will do the indicator. Come on, do something. There you go. Ah, so now you see it glows a bit more than before. So personally, I preferred it being red, but whatever. If they like to change, they like to change. It's up to them. So, okay, so that's that feature of the game. Just going to park my character somewhere safe and then continue. Don't want to be attacked while I'm doing the patch notes. So, let's see. Yeah, right here, whatever. So now at the entrance to St. Conrad's find. So looking back at the patch notes, it says new items have been added. So the Crimson Standard Bracelet. Let's see. The Lily Serpent Bracelet, typically says bracelet. So you can see a list of all these items. Now these items here do interest me because they are for finishing your hunter log. And you can pick them up for doing the achievement. So I will show you where that's listed later on. But there's all these items for finishing the hunter log or the crafting log for each craft, as well as what these master rings mean. So master archer ring means you finish all of the hunter log for archer and so on. And then Paragon's gown as well, which you get for an achievement, and the chocobo suit again for an achievement. So I'll explain when we get to there in the notes where you get them from. So now it says craftsmanship control and CP parameters now influence the success rate and HQ rate of quick synthesis. So now that is very interesting to me because I've made a lot of videos talking about crafting and synthesis, and I did always wonder why, even though my gear was amazing, it would not affect the success rate and high quality rate of quick synthesis. So I'm going to quickly go now onto my Weaver. So let's see, Weaver. And let's see. That was interesting, that message. It says some of the material cannot be restored. That's a weird one. So anyway. So let's see. So we can see here I've got 378 craftsmanship, 349 control, 345 CP. So if I quickly go to some item, I don't know, like undyed felts for example. And I don't have all the materials for that, never mind. So let's try, how can I craft anything? Okay, woolen yarn, quick synthesis. Yeah, I don't think that matters. So let's just quickly do, let's, I don't know, like 10 synthesize. So it doesn't actually give you any sort of indication what that success rate might be. Or what the high quality rate might be either, which is a shame. As long as it doesn't overly fail, because that's what I noticed before, is that it would overly fail for no reason. Okay, 5 more. Let's see if we get at least one high quality for the sake of this video. As long as we get 0 fails, I think that would be awesome. Given especially that my craftsmanship is, you know, it's near 400, so it's like, I shouldn't really get any fails ever. And I'm assuming as well, if I was using high quality mats, that the chance of it getting high quality here would be higher than, because right now I'm just using normal quality mats. Okay, so no fails, no problem. I'll try later on with some high quality mats and see if it really has any effect, as they said. So okay, going back to the patch notes. So it says, when using high quality material to craft an item, the next crafting attempt will not default to normal quality material. Closing the crafting log will default back to normal quality material. So what that means is that when you're in the game and you're crafting an item, you have the option to select high quality if you happen to have any high quality materials. Let me check what high quality materials I actually do have. It's okay, so I've got a high quality woolen cloth, so let's see if I can make anything with wool. Okay, so what they mean is that if you were to select here high quality, then and you have a bunch of high quality materials, then it will keep using the high quality materials until they run out. Whereas before, it would always reset to only using normal quality, and you'd have to reselect high quality every single time. So they changed it now that if you select use high quality, it will keep it that way. Okay, so going back to the patch notes. So now it says new gathering points requiring a high gathering rating will be introduced in patch 2.2. In preparation for this change, actions can no longer be used to improve the gathering rate of items at 0%. So gathering rate will only reach 0% when accessing certain high level gathering points with an extremely low gathering rate. So what it's basically saying is that you're going to need a huge amount of gathering rating if you want to be able to get these really high level nodes, which is good for me because I think my gathering and crafting and everything on my gathering set is capped. So it says players can now preview dies before applying them to gear. The preview function does not require possession of the die in question. Furthermore, display and unaffected gear can be toggled off. Okay, a preview of all current equipped gear with the same color die is also available. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly go to the dyeing feature, take a look what that looks like. So now thankfully the this gear set, the Weaver's gear set, happens to be dyeable. So I'm going to quickly click on the dye button. Let's say click on this. So now I can actually see, well, just for the top hat I guess. I'll tell you what, let's just do the chest piece because then I can actually see it, what that looks like. So I can just, without even owning the die, I can see what each one looks like before getting it, which is awesome, really, because that I did always wonder about which colors might look nice, and now I can see which colors do look good and don't look good, and so on Mithrie. And then it says show all equipped gear, so I can see how it compares to my other gear. And then this one here says preview all dyeable gear with the same color. So, oh, that's interesting. So I can see by changing the color what all of this gear set would look like, just like that. So that is a very good feature. That is I like that. So then you know which dyes you would like to get ahead of time without having to just experiment with lots of different ones. So yeah, so I'll probably mess around with this later on. Okay, going back to the patch notes. So now it says the following subcommands are now available when targeting a minion. So dismiss, emote, mark, focus target. Okay, so minions as in your pets. So quickly look at that. So if I summon any random pet, I guess, let's see. So go here, minions. I'm gonna summon this one. So I can right click him, you see here, dismiss, emote, mark, focus. So emote, I wonder what emote means. Oh, okay. So I can do an emote on him, I can mark him if I like. I can focus target, which brings up the focus target thing, which I moved on my interface. And I also can just right click, dismiss to get rid of him. And the focus target disappears with him. Okay, so looking back at the patch notes. So now the size of certain minions have been adjusted. Okay, so it just means adjusted, might be bigger, might be smaller, you just have to see. Now it says a ready check command has been implemented to confirm the status of party members before and during a duty. Select the ready check from the social menu. So under social you can click on ready check. It says players will have 30 seconds to confirm their readiness. So after 30 seconds, if they don't confirm, then it's automatic, they're not ready. And then it says after 30 seconds have elapsed, the following window will be displayed. And this window is displayed immediately if you've pressed yes. And or if someone's pressed no, you can see it immediately. And it's a good way just to know, is your party ready to pull. And then it says the following changes have been made to the duty finder. It says a relic reborn the Chimera, a relic reborn the Hydra have been added to the duty finder as we showed before. A clear selection has been added to the duty fighter interface. Okay, so let's take a look at what that looks like. So duty finder, where's the clear button? Oh, here we go, clear selection. then if I just change to a combat class, I select a bunch of stuff randomly, like this one and this one, then clear selection, it'll clear them all. That's a good thing, because sometimes, I don't know if it's ever happened to you, but it's happened to me, where I've thought I was queuing for something, but I forgot that another dungeon was already added to the interface, and when I click commence, I ended up in the other one by mistake. So that's going to remove that from happening. And it says melee and range DPS requirements for the Wolf's Den are now listed in the duty finder, okay? Because now in PvP for the Wolf's Den, you need to have a tank, a melee DPS, which is Monk Dragoon, and a range DPS, which is Bard Black Mage Summoner. That they must have one of each in order to do PvP. It says the add member window, which formerly displayed a party member went offline, will no longer appear. Okay, please use the vote dismiss function to remove offline party members. In the event you do not meet the requirements for a duty, a detailed error message including unfulfilled requirements will now be displayed. Okay, so now it will actually tell you why. And then it says the following features have been added to the party finder interface. So it says players can now refresh the list of recruiting parties using the refresh search results button. Okay, and this button here, this is the refresh button, this little up down arrow, and it says players can now receive periodic notifications of the number of parties recruiting members via the log window. To activate this function, select the display periodic recruitment notification in the party interface. So that just means that you'll get a message in your message box which will basically say, for example, 10 parties are recruiting. If you want to know, you can just switch it off by ticking this button there. And then it says players can now cancel party invitations that have not yet been accepted. To cancel invitations, select your name from the party member list and select cancel all party invitations. Okay, which is good, because before you just had to literally wait for it to time out, whereas now that won't happen. You can just instantly deny a party request if you like. And then it says a wish list feature has been added to the market board. So all you need to do is go to the market board, click on wish list, and add whatever items you like to the wish list. It says players can register up to 10 items to their wish list. Wish list contents cannot be viewed by other players. Okay. And it says the demand category has been added to the market board sort options. The total number of players who have added an item to their wish list will be used to calculate demand, which will be displayed in search results. All wishlist data will be cleared when worlds undergo maintenance. So what that means is that if there's like 1,000 players who say, I really want the Dust Bunny, for example, you will get an indication that that item is really highly sought after if you want to sell them. It's just a way of helping the market grow a bit. And it says, when using the free search on the market board, entering 3 characters or more will display all relevant search results. So I think what that means is it will no longer just be... I think before you literally could just enter 1 and it would display, but now you have to do 3. I think that's what it means, but I'll have to test this out a bit later. New achievement rewards have been added. Okay, so this is referring to all the items that they said were added above. So it says for completing 500 company leave quests, you'll get the bracelets. So these bracelets, okay, so let's look in game for those bracelets. So go to achievements, let's go to now Grand Company, let's like order a Twin Adder because that's who I'm a member of. So this is for the 500 leave quest one. There you go, this bracelet here, so it says increase spirit bond gain +2. Okay, I've only done 5 because I don't really care, but maybe later I'll go after it. Next it says bump on a log gladiator. It says complete all gladiator entries for hunting log will get me the master gladiator's ring. That's interesting, and that's the same for all of the combat classes. As you can see, every single combat class has got a ring for finishing the hunter log. So let's quickly go then to, let's see, is it battle? I'm trying to remember where the hunter log is actually. Yeah, it is actually. So battle. So here, bump on a log gladiator. So because I have finished, I've actually finished all of them because that's just me. That's the way I play. So I can go to Johannes in Gridania can pick this up. So I wonder how that is compared to my other ring. So it says 7 vitality, 11 parry, 8 crit rate, reduced durability loss. It's not the best ring in the world, but it's still good, you know. So it's good that they've added these sort of features in. And okay, looking back at the let me quickly show you in game. Apparently I wasn't showing you this in game. Silly me. So anyway, so I'm in the achievements window, bump on the log gladiator, and you can see here this Master Gladiator's ring. Okay, so that's what it looks like. To pick up achievement rewards, you need to go to Gridania, to Johannes or Jonathanus, whatever you want to call him, and I'll show you where to do that later. So looking back at the notes, so it says that they have the same for crafting. So for crafting unique recipes, which is just the achievement for basically just do as many as you can to up to these numbers. So for example, I've definitely finished it for Weaver, so I know I can pick up the Master Weaver's ring as well. And now this is an interesting one. It says successfully complete 3000 fates, gives you the Paragon's gown. So I'm going to quickly look at that in game. So achievements, battle, what is it, 3000. I actually haven't done this one, so but then you see that you'll get this gown. It says 13 strength, 13 dex, 14 vitality, 13 intelligence, 13 mind, 12 piety. It's one of those loads and loads of stats for you know, all at once, the same as a Paragon's crown. So that's interesting. So I only have 1000 fates to go, which I'll do, you know, another time. I don't really care about it right now. So looking back at the patch notes, so that's all the extra rewards. And then yeah, this one, I knew they would add something to this, and it really annoys me that they have, but whatever, at least there's some sort of other reward. So for getting your Chocobo to rank 10, you will get the Chocobo suit, which is the full body Chocobo outfit, this one here. So, but you have to get your Chocobo to rank 10, which is a lot of work. So it says achievement rewards can be redeemed by speaking with Jonathus or Jonathanus or whatever you want to call him in Old Gridania. And it says players can now summon a mount at random. So it says to summon a mount at random, select the mount roulette from the list of actions found in the general tab of the action and traits interface, or set it to your hotbar. Mount roulette is only available after obtaining at least 2 mounts. Okay, and then it says players can now summon a minion at random. To summon a minion at random, select minion roulette from the list of actions found in the general tab of the action and traits interface, or set it to your hotbar. Okay, so let's quickly look at that. So let's go now to actions. Actions. Sorry, it would be probably main commands. So let's see where it is. Interesting. I wonder where it is actually. Let me read it again. Oh, sorry, it's found in the general tab, silly me. Here we go. Mount roulette, minion roulette. So I'm going to add the mount roulette here to my mount button, and I'm going to add the minion roulette here. So what that means is that every time you press it, a different mount will spawn. But for now, let's do the minion one. So, okay, wind up Sylph, dismiss that. So clicking it a second time will actually dismiss the minion and summon a different one. Okay. And then for the mount one, I think this is going to be interesting. Every time I summon a mount. Okay, so first it did the Gobu. Let's try what else. Okay, Magitech this time. And next, let's see, Coral. So this is a really cool feature actually, that you'll get to see your different mounts just because every time you press it will be different without having to re-drag them. So these are all the mounts I've encountered so far in the game. Okay, so that's a cool thing. Let's just get rid of this bat. Now going back to the patch notes. Let's see. So I think to get rid of the minion, you actually have to right-click and do dismiss. So it says the item sort function has been adjusted to improve sorting of certain high quality and normal quality items. Okay, so it says to improve usability for colorblind players, the marking of gear unequipable by your current class or job has been changed from green to blue. So it says red, the selected gear's level requirement are not met by any of your classes or jobs. Blue, the selected gear level requirement are not met by your current job. Okay, so if it's red, it basically means you can't use it for any class. So it might be just too high level for you at the moment. So it says the following changes have been made to gear sets. Gear sets will now automatically substitute the main arm when registered item is not available. What that means is that before, it has happened to me before, I've had a gear list for, say, an alt class, let's say level 15 warrior, whatever, and then I converted the axe, for example, and then I wanted to go back on my warrior. It wouldn't let me before because it wasn't able to detect the main weapon. So what this means is that it will now automatically, if it finds another axe for warrior, it will put that instead, so that you can at least change to warrior. And it says gear sets will now distinguish between your gear affixed with materia. Okay. Now let's see between gear affixed with materia. Okay. So what that means is that if you have, let's say you have a bunch of items which you have fully melded, let's say for example your crafting sets, and then you have a bunch of other rings or like stuff which is not fully melded. Let's say you've only made the extra accessories for the sake of spirit bonding and converting to make some gil, then the gear sets will now distinguish between the two. So it will always equip the one with the materia that you originally saved it on and ignore the ones which have no materia, because that was also a bug. I did notice that if you had multiple of the same item, regardless of whether one was melded and one was not, it would just select whichever one it liked at random, which was kind of annoying. So that's a good fix. So then it says chocobo barding that cannot be equipped by a chocobo will now be grayed out. Okay, it says the arrangement of items in the armoire has been changed. Okay, time worn maps have been added to the timers window under duty on the main menu. So what that means is that when you're doing the treasure hunt maps, there is an 18-hour lockout, so the time of how much remains for it to be reset will be displayed under your timers window in duty. Quickly show you where that is. So go to where is that actually? I think it's here, duty, timers, and then next map allowance, for me available now because I haven't done a map in the last 18 hours. And then you have this button here, delivery missions, and these are the delivery missions you can do for your grand company. So yeah, so it just tells you when it is. Next, leave allowances. That's when you get an extra free leave allowances to do leaves you like under your journal. Next, mission allowance here. Okay. So always little refinements, but they do make the game better. So now it says the number of fates viewable in the recommendation list has been increased. Okay. Players can now customize the order of appearance for quests in the duty list. That's interesting. So it says check the boxes beside quest names in the journal to display them atop of the duty list. Up to 5 quests may be selected. Now that is interesting. So let's quickly look at the journal. I'll close that. So open journal, and if there were any quests, then next to it I could actually let me quickly accept a couple of, I don't know, battlecraft leaves just randomly. So let's do, actually tell you what, I'm going to do some cravecraft leaves. So let's just accept some weaver ones, why not? So accept. So the idea is that now that I've accepted these leaves, I will be able to go here and select which ones I want displayed. So if I had more than 5, I could actually say which ones of the 5 I want displayed here on my window and which ones I don't. I think that's the idea of it. I think it is. Well, maybe not. I wonder. I think it's just because I can, I don't have more than 5, so whatever. I'll test this feature more later on, but I think that's the purpose of that little button next to the quest now, so you can affect which ones are here. Because if you have more than 5, then you only see 5, and you couldn't choose which ones would be there before. Okay, so now it says quest objective completion icons will now appear in the journal. Okay, so you will see in the journal when a quest has been completed before you turn it in. And it says the following features have been added to the Moogle delivery service. So it says sent letter history feature has been added just by clicking the button when you open your Moogle mail, and it will tell you the name, the title of the letter, what was sent with it, should there happen to be items with it, and when it was sent. Okay, so it says when attaching an item to a letter, obviously this is maybe spelled wrong, I don't know, the item name will now appear in the log window. In the event the letter cannot be sent, a message will appear in the log window indicating whether the item was returned to your inventory or armory chest. Okay, so it says to prevent accidental use of auto-run function when using a gamepad or controller, auto-run can no longer be initiated when manipulating the camera with the right analog stick. So that's people who use controllers. So it says an option to disable auto-run entirely has been added. Okay, so I think that's what that is used for, is that if you're, like, say, standing on the edge of the Titan platform and you don't want to fall off, but you do need to adjust the camera to see what's going on, there's no chance you will accidentally hit auto-run and then just run straight off the cliff. So it says to better accommodate varying play styles using both gamepads and keyboards, the following configuration options have been added. So it says targeting settings locked to cursor unlocked. Players can now enable the cross hotbar when using mouse and keyboard controls. Players can now disable the pet hotbar when using mouse and keyboard controls, Windows version only. Okay, yeah, waymarks have been added. So it says using waymarks, players can now mark as select areas on the field that can be seen by party and alliance members. Waymarks can be accessed under social on the main menu. A waymark can be removed by using the same waymark at a different location or by selecting clear waymarks. Okay, so I'm going to quickly show you what that means. So looking here, all you do, you go to social, waymarks, and then you can put these little indicators wherever you like. So say A, B, C, as you can see, and this is used for tactics basically. If you're doing dungeons or raids or whatever, you can just tell people where to go, where to stand. You can say this member you stand in A, these members you stand in B and C, and so on. To get rid of these markers, simply click clear waymarks. And also these are hotbar icons, so you can just drag them to your hotbar as you wish. So I probably will do that as a tank. I think that'll be very good. So I'll just add them here, there, and there. Okay, so that's the waymark feature. So as a tank, it's a good idea to use, you know, targets kill orders. So that's what these markers are for, the signs, and also waymarks to tell people where to stand. Okay, so looking back at the patch notes. So now it says, let's see, so it says waymark can be removed by using the same waymark at a different location or by selecting clear waymark. So if you were to select A again and move it there, then this first one will get removed. So it says the following adjustments have been made to the ground targeting for gamepads and controllers. When using a skill that requires ground targeting, your character will enter ground targeting mode, which will be indicated on screen. When ground targeting is set to locked to cursor, the targeting circle will always appear at the cursor's default position. When ground targeting is set to unlocked, the targeting circle can be freely controlled by pressing RB R1 plus left stick. So it says cursor position will be saved until game client is closed. Okay, fair enough. I don't use a controller, so this is not really relevant to me, but if you do use one, then I hope that's good for you. It says when using signs to mark players, a message will now appear in the log window. That's interesting. So you will actually see it in the log window should, like, say, you know, it'll probably say something along the lines of Mithrie has marked so-and-so with a 1. So it says in order to improve mouse targeting, the following adjustments have been made. The clickable target box for characters has been enlarged. Okay, so when you want to select a player, let's say to cure them or whatever, the chances of clicking them will be better. So it says an option to highlight potential targets has been added. To enable this feature, select Highlight Potential Targets on the Target tab under Control Settings and Character Configuration Interface. The target highlighting is disabled by default. Certain objects cannot be highlighted using this function. So I'm going to quickly actually look at what that means. So if I go now quickly, as it said, to Character Configuration Target. So here we go, Highlight Potential Targets, Apply. So by putting my mouse over targets, that's what it means. You see that sort of when I select, but these are only targets you can actually select. It doesn't work for him, for example, but for this person and that person, you can see these are people you can actually interact with, but these ones over here you can't. But this also applies to mobs, so it's a good idea, I guess. So you can make sure that you are selecting the right one when you're clicking on something. That's an interesting feature. Okay. So now it says the focus target bar will now remain visible even when the indicated target is no longer on screen. So what that means is that if you've put focus target, for example, on Titan, I always mention Titan, but it's because it's a really annoying fight, and he jumps into the air, when he comes back down again, your focus target will still be there, which is a very good thing. And it says mounts will now affect the size of a character target box as well as their target rings. So before, you see, it was always the same based on the character size. Now, because they're sitting on a Magitech, you see a much bigger target ring, which is a good thing. It says pressing the pause key will now turn your character's head towards the camera. Press and hold the pause key to have your character turned to face the camera. Release the pause key and your character will continue to face the same direction. Press pause again to cancel. So it says selecting a target or moving will cancel this function. This is for the sake of screenshots, so let me quickly show you what I mean. So if I just turn Mithrie to the side, but then I hit the, they said pause button. You see, now she looks at the camera. So you just press pause and it goes back and forth. I wonder if you can like break a neck. No, you can't. Okay, so they have thought about it, that you can't like turn her head like 180 degrees. But there you go. So this is for the sake of screenshots, and only you will see the fact that she's looking at the camera. No one else will see this. They will see you if you're targeting targets, like if your head is looking towards this target, for example, they will see that, but they will not see the fact that you've turned your head towards the target, just towards the camera, just for the sake of the screenshot. Okay. So camera positioning when players are near walls has been adjusted. So players can now zoom out and achieve an overhead view when locked to large targets. Okay, so this just means, like, for example, because when you do Garuda, as they showed in this screenshot, you quite often as a tanker right against a wall, an invisible wall, and the camera can be kind of annoying. So now they're saying they're making it easier for you. So it says the online status new adventurer has been added. So it says to set your online status to new adventurer, select your character in the party members tab of the social interface and choose edit search info. The new adventurer status can only be used by characters with less than 20 hours of playtime or less than 80 achievement points. Okay, they had the same feature in Final Fantasy XI. It was just a way to say that I'm new, please help me out. You know, that's what the indicator was for. It says the new adventurer status can only be used by characters with less than 20 hours playtime, blah blah blah. The online status will no longer be displayed for alliance members outside of your party. Okay, so it says the following changes have been made to the mouse mode main menu. Windows of the main menu will now open with a single click, even when the previous window is still open. Okay, that's interesting. And it says pressing cancel will, while viewing a window of the main menu, will return the cursor to the previously selected main menu category. The character interface will now remember the most recently viewed tab until the game client is closed. That's interesting. So, and it says when a friend request is received, selecting the request notification will now display the friend's registration confirmation window. And it says currently targeted treasure chest will be deselected upon opening the lock window. Okay. When interacting with event objects that require an additional hotbar, a sound will now play when the additional hotbar is activated. Hotbar macro icons will now display an additional marking to better distinguish between macros and actions. This little indication here. So if I quickly go back in game, so for example, this ability here, Spirits Within, I've actually macroed this because I want to include a party message. So, oh, okay, I need to select something else. Invalid target. Let me go select a mob quickly. So, okay, let me go attack the mob then, whatever. So quickly here, so if I do the macro now, oh, there are no party members. That's what I keep saying, but basically that's what it means, is that the reason I have this as a macro is because I use it to basically say to the party that yes, I've used Spirits Within, I've silenced the target, should there be a need for the rest of the members to know, for example in Binding Coil. Okay, so I'll go back to the town. So, okay, now here we go. Font size settings will now affect text entered in the chat log window. Okay, I did notice that my chat log was a bit smaller than before, so I need to adjust the settings a bit. So when typing Japanese, an icon will now be displayed in the chat log window, indicating your current input mode. Okay. The UI reset command has been added. Using this text command will revert the HUD layout to the default setting and return all closed windows to the default positions. This is if you want to reset your UI, so hopefully it'll be one I will never use. It says the following features have been added to the macro icon text command. Add one of the text commands below to the first line of the macro to change the icon as follows. So you can add the gear set number, you can add action and trait menu options, you can add mounts, you can add minions, you can add emotes, and you can add signs. Okay, so it says display the target so for example, display the teleport icon, you do macro icon teleport general. Okay, that's what it means basically. So you can use all of the other sort of macro icons in your macros if you wish. So it says players can now use syntax in place of the wait command. So it says number can be any digit between 1 to 60. Using raised on the target 1 second after swift cat action raise. By using the syntax, players can now use the wait function together with other actions on a single line. So it says please note the original wait command can still be used if desired. Okay, so this basically just means that you can just put a number and that will be the number of seconds it will wait and delay. It says when using, but you can use it on the same line, and that's important because I will make another video about it later on, that you can make your crafting macros a lot better because you can add twice as much action to the one macro than before. And it says when the action and pet action commands are used and a target is not specified, macros will now function the same way as regular actions. So what that means is that right now if you were to press any button, like I don't know, like fast blade or whatever, then and there wasn't anything selected, then the normal button will automatically select the nearest target, whereas if it was in a macro it wouldn't, whereas what they're saying now it does. So it says, for example, the macro action fast blade can now be used on target selected with the target circle. The macro action cure can now be used to heal oneself even if no target is present, which is good. It basically means that simply they will the macros will function the same way as normal buttons. So it says the following actions have been added to the action and traits menu: general, mount roulette, minion roulette, we already saw that, main commands, waymarks, ready check, okay, we saw those. So it says the following settings have been added to the character configuration menu: target tab, ground targeting settings, gamepad mode, target ring. It says when playing in gamepad mode with locked to cursor selected, the mouse can be used for ground targeting. Target display settings highlight potential targets, we looked at that. Character tab, idle animation delay. Please note idle animations will be implemented in patch 2.2. Okay, so we have to see what that means in 2.2. Now it says hotbar settings. So it says cross tab, general settings, enable cross hotbar, Windows version only. So this is like if you want to use the cross hotbar even though you're on PC. And it says log window settings, display recast timer error message. This option is enabled by default. Okay. And now it says the following option has been added to the log filter under the announcement tab. So you can add in party recruitment notifications, signed messages for PC targets. Okay, that was just referring to what they discussed earlier on. And it says now the following settings have been added to the system configuration menu. Display settings, general, enable wet surface effect. So what this is it says apparently it's Windows only, they haven't added to PlayStation I guess, is that when you are near, if it's raining or if you're near the beach or wherever, your character will appear physically wet while being in a wet area. So it'll be drenched by rain and so on, so that's a good thing. And gamepad controller settings, blah 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 blah. Okay, so I don't really care about those, but if you do play with a controller or a PlayStation, then it's worth reading that. And it says other settings, display limits, character and object quantity, Windows version only. This setting cannot be changed in patch 2.16. So I wonder if this means that you'll be able to select how many characters and objects are displayed, and it won't be limited automatically anymore. If your PC is extremely powerful, you can just say show everything regardless how many. And it says the following settings have been added to the keybind menu. So face camera, which is what we saw, waymarks, we've seen it, cycle through HUD components. Oh, so I haven't looked at that, but whatever. Notification for replies from customer support will now have a unique identifying icon. Okay. So it says messages from customer support can now be viewed under the history tab of the support desk menu. Once a reply from customer support has been viewed, the notification icon will no longer appear. Furthermore, in accordance with this change, the priority for Moogle letter and notifications has been changed as follows. So a reply from support will show you a reply from support. A GM Moogle letter will be in this icon. A regular Moogle letter will be this one, which is displayed at the top of your screen. And it's just a way to say that yes, you have received what type of letter you've received, if it's an official one from Square Enix or if it's just a regular one from another player. And it says wet surface effects have been added. So say player models will now appear wet in inclement weather, when immersed in water, or when struck by water-based attacks. Okay. So it says players can now see their breath in cold areas. So I was in Kyorphus earlier on, and you can see when they're breathing, you can see the hot air being there, which is awesome. It says several cutscenes have been made skippable. Now I don't know if this includes the opening cutscene. I'll have to check it later on, but if it has, that would be awesome. And then it says an explanation of camera controls has been added to the character creation screen. Yes, so this basically, like when you're on your character selection screen, you should have seen it already logging into patch 2.16. It does say right at the top, so that simply you can, for example, hold left click to move it around, or you can do right click to move the direction of your character and so on. It says players can now load character appearance data created for the beta test and benchmark. Now this thing was actually supposed to be fixed like 6 months ago, but I guess they finally got around to doing it. And then known issues, resolved issues. So these are all the sort of bugs they fixed since the last patch. I won't go through these, you can read these if you like. Now confirmed bugs, this is kind of important. So it says an issue wherein when an additional application to join the free company is sent while waiting for the approval of another free company, a message included in the application to both free companies will be deleted. So what that means is that this is a bug, that if you apply to one free company then apply to another, both will get deleted, and that's not intended. And it says an issue wherein the changes to offhand under the armory system, such as equipping a shield, will not be reflected to the preview for dying equipment. Okay, so it's basically saying offhand, such as shields, are not displayed in the dying preview yet. And then it says an issue wherein the furnishings that are placed on the estate ground are painted directly from the furnishing window under the housing menu, and the window is reopened. The color before the paint will be displayed on the color icon of the furnishings. So this is just like if you color items, and it's bugged the indication of it. As there's an issue wherein the graphics of a certain character that appears in the cutscene of Hildebrand's side quest story will be displayed incorrectly. Okay. And then it says an issue wherein the image format of the screenshot cannot be changed on the PlayStation 3 version of the game. That's interesting as well. So yeah, so that's the patch notes for patch 2.16. I've done my best to really explain everything and show you in game what it looks like as well. So given that this is just a quality of life patch, I'm surprised how long these notes are, to be honest. But you can read through them if you like, link in the description. So anyway, that's it for this episode. Thank you once again for watching. I hope you like my videos. I've already passed 250 episodes, but I'm still lots more to do, and the more content they release, more videos to come. So thank you for watching, and as always, goodbye from me, goodbye from Mithrie. And if you have any comments, feedback or suggestions about the patch, any thoughts that you want to share, just feel free to do it in the comments below. And yeah, so thank you for watching. Bye bye.